Ever since the dawn of time, man has tried to find a way to make sounds and noises and try to combine these in ways that are logical. It started with grunts, which transformed to spoken word and the creation of language. From here, people were interested in using other instruments to create sounds that were aesthetically pleasing. This began the creation of music, first with just instruments that blended well together, to background instruments with lyrics that helped to enhance the general meaning of the instruments or the song itself. For years, hip-hop music was stuck on this stage until finally someone came along and took one small step for man, but one giant leap for music. Cool DJ Herc. Herc used two turntables that played vinyl records and used different types of music to combine them and make a song. Typical genres that were used would be drum loops from jazz songs, combined with really any other genre of music that combines well with the drum loop. It's not just about the samples it used, but rather the techniques used to blend both sounds together just right and to give it some texture through a series of scratches, pauses, and switching of knobs on the DJ mixer. This was the invention of turntablism, the art of manipulating sounds and creating music using phonograph turntables or digital turntables and a DJ mixer. Some people may speculate that this is hardly considered music as there are no real instruments being played. I beg to differ, and so would all turntablists such as RJD2, Professor Stephen Weber from the Berklee College of Music, who just recently added turntable technique to the class offerings, and many people of the music world today.
This is the way we did it in the 70s. There's so many people that say, yo, tell us about the 80s. What is the 70s is what hip-hop is built on the 70s. If there was no 70s hip-hop, there'd be no hip-hop today. No hip-hop. None.
So you may be asking yourself, how did turntablism come about? Or you may be wondering how these DJs helped to revolutionize hip-hop music into what it is today. Well, I can only do so much explaining myself, but I feel it is best to be left to the pioneers of turntablism themselves, Cool DJ Herc and DJ Grandmaster Flash. Not only will you see how it came about, but you will also get a chance to see the talent in action with videos of the most prominent DJs today.
One night, I'm waiting for the record to play out. I said, I wonder if I put that to myself. I said, if they're waiting for this particular break and I have a couple more records that's got the same breakup in it, I wonder how would it be if I put them all together. And I told them, I said, I'm going to try something new tonight. I'm going to call it a merry-go-round.
Herc's merry-go-round meant that instead of playing whole records, he would play just the instrumental breaks, mixing between them to create a continuous dance rhythm.
I started out with James Brown, clap your hand, stomp your feet. That part right there, when the break, boom, I had to come in with bongo rock. Bongo rock was still no vocals in it, and I would go into Baby Huey, the Mexican. And it was like, whoa, I think we got some hit, because people was like, oh, whoa, everybody was like, yeah, I'm feeling this, oh, yeah,
No DJs if it wasn't for the 70s. No MCs if it wasn't for the 70s. No graffiti artists if it wasn't for the 70s. No breakdancers if it wasn't for the 70s. It's the 70s that matters.
What I would do is the most climatic part, or the strongest part, the funkiest part of the record, and just continuously repeat that part over and over again and sync. So this is like way before records were, even thought about being made. There was no such thing as a recording artist, rapper on a record. At that time there, playing in the parks with the style of music that we was playing, you had to keep the audience occupied, because if you didn't, somebody might just get violent. These things happen, from there, that's when MCing. It's now, the standard is now called rapping. It was called MCing. And the rapping and the DJing, intertwined together. It worked pretty good.
Grandmaster, cut faster. Grandmaster, cut faster. Grandmaster, cut faster.
According to Berklee College of Music professor Stephen Weber, Hip-hop has been widely misunderstood and misrepresented in the media. To me, it is urban folk music that originated in the Bronx. DJs are musicians of the culture, and the turntable is their instrument. The level of performance is incredibly high, and the creativity involved in developing different techniques is amazing. With that being said, let's take a look at the most popular techniques used today and see how creative DJs really are nowadays.
Just in case any of you didn't know how this hip-hop thing started, this is an art that the inner city youth, you know, kids who didn't have music programs, who didn't have access to instruments, what they did was they took their mom and pop's record players and they found records with dope drum breaks on them, and they get 2 copies, and they would master the art of rocking this 4-bar break over and over between 2 turntables. And that's the whole start of all this hip-hop music you hear now. The DJs were the ones who started everything. Everything revolved around the music. You know, before you knew it, the graffiti kids were coming around. You know, the dancing B-boys actually means break boys. You dance on the break. MCs were second to the DJ. MCs would come to rock over the beats and hype up the crowd for the DJs.
Mixing, which is the basis of what a DJ must know before he even learns how to scratch. You must know how to have your timing and rhythm. What Shortcut will do is demonstrate 2 different records, and beat mix. If you can notice, he's playing 2 different records, and he was using the pitch control on the turntable to match up the speed on the other turntable. Shortcut is going to demonstrate is called backspinning, basic backspinning. And what backspinning is, ladies and gentlemen, is taking 2 copies of the same record, repeating maybe a 4-bar phrase or an 8-bar break, and keeping a continuous loop, like a sampler. And at the same time, if you notice, he's cutting in snares or kicks, different parts of the record, giving it different effects. Both Babu and Shortcut are going to demonstrate different techniques of scratching, a little different evolution from the simple scratch to maybe the more hardcore scratching. Baby scratch, which is the very simple scratching. Or stabs. Shortcut will demonstrate the stabs. Basically, what he's doing is moving the up and down fader. He's moving the record up and down, putting up the volume up, letting the sound go, and then putting the volume down before you're hearing the back scratch. We'll demonstrate what's called the chirp scratch, which sounds like a bird chirping. That's what's called a chirp scratch. What basically what he's doing is taking the main crossfader and moving it fast. And the same thing as a stab, but more of a how would you say?
It's more of a baby scratch, and the timing of the fader is different, where you're cutting off. Turn the time in half.
All right, our next scratch we're going to do is called transforming. So, basically, if you watched the cartoon, you would see the robot transform into a car, and it would have this sound effect going, and thus far is all you got, the transforming scratch.
Do you have an idea that you're looking for a certain genre in music when you're producing, or are you more interested in the sound of a certain group?
What you're talking about in terms of the sound is a bigger dictating factor for me. You know, I've just always been in love with, I think it's why I fell into what I'm doing now, but I've always been in love with sort of the textures and the aesthetics to recordings. Live music didn't enthrall me the same way that things, what can be achieved on a record.
Have you had musical training yourself?
I did have a little bit of musical training. I took some piano and guitar lessons when I was younger, and then I went to a vocational music school in high school.
Show me around, man. Show us around. Like, what are all these records right here?
Records right here. Got b-boy records, you know, funk records. We got sound effects, world music. We got cartoon records. You know, sound effects, everything.
So you use all that for sound effects?
Definitely, definitely. If I'm gonna make a beat, I'm gonna, you know, dig for some raw beats and stuff, and you know, and as well, I'm buying stuff all the time and
yeah,
you know, looking for new sounds and everything.
After 22 years, you're still digging through the crates.
Yeah, definitely. Vinyl got a different sound. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the digital sound is a little different from vinyl. Vinyl has this warm, analog, kind of like gritty sound. You know, like if you listen to like Wu-Tang Clan's first album, it's more gritty because they're using an analog type of sound.
It's not as crisp, would you say?
Right, it's not as crisp. I mean, it's good to be crisp too, but I also like the other side where it's kind of like
raw,
a little more humanish. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now I see you got the QFO over there.
Yeah, yeah. This is a turntable and mixer all in one.
So you got that turntable there, but you know, I'm a DJ, so you know I noticed this first. You got that right there, but I seen over there, you got the black and gold limited edition.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Technique 1200s. Now I see that you have the digital too.
Digital, yep. I wanna scratch you know, CDs. Like say if I get a job from a video game company, like I said, I did Need for Speed.
Yeah.
And they send me a CD. I gotta scratch those sounds. I can't put it on vinyl right away, so I'm still running in that Newmark thing. Scratch CDs. And
so I see you got the 808.
808. You gotta have the you know, when I'm making beats, I'll sample from that. And, you know, take the bass kick. That's all that bass heavy stuff you hear.
The classic 808 drum. That's what it is right there.
Yeah.
As you can see, after everything is chopped and screwed, turntable is a force to be reckoned with in the music industry. Not only are there DJs that perform solo with their turntables making music, sometimes on the fly, but they also help to make background music and beats for today's hottest hip-hop artists. Where would hip-hop music be today without this new genre of turntablism? It would be stuck in the 1970s if turntablism never would have spun around. Having a DJ not only helps to add to the auditory effect of the song through the use of scratches and such, but it also adds to the visual effect of seeing the artist play live. When you go to a rock show, you go to see them slash their guitars around stage, pound on their drums, and really get into the music. At a hip-hop show with no DJ, you just watch the artist dance around stage singing. Sure, they have a great light show to follow, and maybe they can really work the stage, but it is nowhere near the same as watching a live hip-hop artist sing over top of a DJ spinning some vinyls in the background. It is just like watching a drummer do a solo at the end of a song, where the guitarists get carried away with a minute-long improv outro for the song. True turntablists will take it to the next step, just as these artists do, and will go on a tirade of scratching, switching, and pausing at the end of the song to show off their skills and really get the crowd into the music. To spin it down for you, turntablism is just now emerging faster than ever, so keep your ears open and your eyes peeled, otherwise it may just come up from behind and scratch you.